There's this powerful quote from Dante's Inferno that basically says all the gold in the world can't buy a person peace of mind. It's the perfect way to start thinking about the story we're diving into today, a story about a lawyer who's at a serious crossroads.
So, let's picture this. Our story kicks off with a lawyer, Maria, sitting all by herself in her dark apartment. And we're not just talking about a power outage here. This darkness is emotional. It's a feeling of being completely isolated and in crisis.
And right there, in that darkness, she is staring down a choice so huge it's going to change everything, the entire rest of her life. This single question is what drives the whole story.
So today, we're going to deconstruct the short story Konspirasi Maria. It's a really powerful look at what happens when your deepest principles are put to the ultimate test. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's go back to Maria, sitting in her apartment, completely trapped in her own head. Because it's in this exact moment of despair that a phone call just shatters the silence and kicks everything into high gear. Right off the bat, the story puts Maria in a classic moral dilemma. It's this messy, impossible conflict between her duties as a lawyer, her urgent personal needs, and the very ideals that make her who she is. No matter what she chooses, she's gonna have to sacrifice something important. On the other end of that call is her colleague, Miranda. And those words, a splendid offer, well, that's the catalyst, isn't it? This is the moment that her abstract problem becomes a very real, very life-altering choice. But to really feel the weight of this decision, we have to understand the person who's making it. So let's hit rewind for a second and take a look at the kind of idealistic lawyer Maria was before her entire world started to crumble. See, Maria wasn't just some lawyer, she was a fighter. She came from a pretty humble background and literally built her career from the ground up on pure hard work. But what's really crucial here is that her entire identity was wrapped up in this fierce belief in justice. Her integrity wasn't just a professional checkbox, it was who she was. And what's so striking is how self-aware Maria is. She thinks about this very quote from Nietzsche long before this crisis hits. It's almost like she's foreshadowing her own story. She's terrified of becoming the very thing she's fighting against, which makes the choice she's about to face even more agonizing.
So that fierce belief in justice, the very core of who she is about to face a test it was never, ever prepared for. Maria's ideals aren't just facing one problem. Nope, they're about to be completely crushed between two devastating crises that hit her at the exact same time.
I mean, just look at this impossible pressure she's under. Professionally, she's being forced to defend a drunk driver who is obviously guilty in a case that's already been bought and paid for. And then, personally, her father is dying and the medical bills are absolutely destroying her family. Can you imagine the mental gymnastics? Every principle she holds is pulling her one way, and all the love she has for her family is yanking her in the complete opposite direction. And just like that, the legal system she dedicated her entire life to shows its true colors. Her own boss doesn't ask, he orders her to be part of the cover-up. The institution she thought was there to protect justice is now demanding she help bury it.
Which brings us right back to that phone call, right back to Miranda, and right back to that splendid offer that sits at the dark heart of this whole story. Because really, this story isn't just about a legal case anymore. It's forcing us, the audience, to ask a really uncomfortable question about morality and money. How much does it cost to buy someone's conscience? And there it is, the price tag, ringgit, in cash. That's what's on the table. The deal? Make sure their guilty client, the drunk driver Joe Lau, walks away a free man.
Now look at what this money really represents. It's not just cash. It's a solution. It's a chance to save her father's life. It's a way to stop her family's suffering and secure her own future. It's the key to escaping her own personal hell. It's basically hope, but it's packaged as a bribe. But the cost? Wow, the cost is astronomical. Taking that money means betraying every single thing she believes in. It means turning her back on the victim's family, letting a guilty man go free, and becoming that exact monster from the Nietzsche quote that she's always feared. It would mean literally destroying her soul to save her life. So, what does she do? What can she do? Well, Maria makes her choice, and the fallout is immediate, it's total, and it is completely devastating. She chooses her principles. In this incredible act of integrity, she refuses the bribe. But in a world this corrupt, integrity comes at a catastrophic price. The system just keeps on rolling without her. The client gets acquitted anyway. Her firm fires her. And then, in the cruelest twist imaginable, she gets to the hospital just in time to watch her father die. She held on to her soul, and in return, she lost absolutely everything else.
And at her absolute lowest point, she reads this quote, and it just perfectly captures that feeling of being completely powerless. She feels totally crushed by a corrupt system that is designed to reward people who play along and punish the very integrity she sacrificed everything for. But then, in a dream, something shifts. She sees the face of Sangeeta, the victim's widow. There are no words, just this silent grief, but it's more powerful than any argument could ever be. It's this gut punch of a reminder of who the real victims are and what justice was supposed to be about in the first place. That vision sparks a change in her. Maria realizes that trying to fight within a corrupt system is a game you can't win. If the whole game is rigged, you can't win by playing by their rules. No, you have to fight it from the outside. And that is where the story leaves us. It's not really an ending, it's a beginning. The title, Konspirasi Maria, it's not about the conspiracy that broke her, it's about the one she is just about to build. And it leaves all of us with one last, lingering question. What happens when a person with absolutely nothing left to lose finally decides to fight back?